everybody, it is Life's Apprentice. Today's video is going to be what I wish I knew when I got into the dumpster business, and some of the things that we've learned along the way, some of the things that were unexpected, or just some of the things that we didn't really take into consideration when getting into the business. If you guys like these videos, hit the thumbs up. It really helps out the views on all my videos. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. That also helps. As some of you may know or may not know, we did not start our dumpster business. I actually bought it from a guy that I had been renting dumpsters from for over 10 years, and over the course of those 10 years he had mentioned selling it to me multiple times, and I was interested, and finally one day he decided he wanted to sell it. We had 11 dumpsters when we started, and now we have 40. And we're about 18 months into it, so we have grown the business quite a bit. And there's a lot of things that I'd like to mention today that were unexpected or different than the way that we thought the business would go. The first thing, and this is something that's talked about on YouTube with other dumpster people a lot, is dumpster rental length. So when we took over the business, the old owner was doing 3 to 5 day rentals. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but what we noticed immediately with the phone calls is a lot of people would not rent to us because we would not rent the length of time that they wanted. So that being said, with 10 dumpsters, and those 10 dumpsters being rented constantly for 3 to 5 day rentals, doing shorter term rentals, you can maximize your profit with that amount of dumpsters. But at the same time, turning down those customers that want 7, 12, 14 day rentals, you're leaving money on the table. And where I'm going with this is when you're first starting out and you only have so many dumpsters and maybe you don't have any plans to expand, the best way to make the most amount of money is to do those shorter term rentals. But in our case, and maybe in your case too, we wanted to grow this business. Now, in order to truly grow the business, we had to take on those longer term rentals. That's one of the things that we underestimated when we got into this business, was the business's potential for growth. And the potential for growth was we needed more dumpsters to accommodate those customers who wanted those longer term dumpster rentals. Now, this is a hot topic on YouTube, and this is something where by buying more dumpsters, we are not making necessarily more money per dumpster per year, but overall the business does make more money doing the longer term rentals with more dumpsters. That brings me to my next point. This business is very capital intensive. Now, you don't have to make it capital intensive, and your business does not have to be capital intensive, but the route that we have taken in order to 3 or 4 times our business, it is very capital intensive. Behind me, new truck. We needed another truck because we have too many dumpsters to run with one truck. We've bought 29 dumpsters since we started. That cost a lot of money. Decals, advertising, another trailer. It can be very capital intensive. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you away, and you do not need to grow a business to that point to make good money in the dumpster business. Which brings me to my next point. Know what you want in the dumpster business when you get into the business, or before you get into the business. And when I say that, what I mean is, no, you just want to quit your 9 to 5 job and make a good, honest living and do dumpster rentals by yourself. Or your goal is to have 100 dumpsters and have 5 employees or whatever. It's not completely necessary, but at least give yourself a blueprint of what you would like, goals, and your ultimate end goal when you get into this business, because this business can consume you, and you can grow too fast. It is possible to grow too fast. So just know what you want. Know what you want to get out of the business. Most people that get into this business just want to make a good, honest living, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Marketing, marketing, marketing. The dumpster business, whether you believe it or not, and if you don't think that it's a marketing game, I think you're ill-informed. The number one thing in the dumpster business once you're started, in order to maintain what you have or grow, the number one thing is marketing. This is very important. This is a point that and a question I get all the time, and a point that I like to make in all of my videos, or the majority of them, is marketing is the most important part to this business and growing this business. There's lots of ways to do that. I've made videos about that. If you want a free trial for Hometown Dumpster Rental, you can go into the description and you can get a free month of dumpster rental leads or junk removal leads. That is just one of the many ways that you can market your business. But marketing, marketing, marketing. The next thing that we've noticed and learned since we got into this business is how the phone can just go crazy one day and completely shut off the next for no apparent or obvious reason. Now sometimes it's going to be weather related. As you can see, it's winter. It's snowing right now. This is the second time it snowed this week for us. But it's something that is really interesting, how we can get 20, 30 phone calls one day, and then the next day you get absolutely no phone calls. I think weather and time of year has a lot to do with it. We've noticed around when school starts is a slower bit time for the dumpster business. We've noticed winter time obviously is a slower time for the dumpster business. And then your big weekends are going to be Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, 4th of July, if you end up getting like a 3-day weekend. Those are going to be hot times of the year. The other thing that we noticed very shortly after we started in the dumpster business is getting equipment made, built, or just finding used and buying equipment can be very difficult. And I'm sure a lot of you people have heard since COVID and everything like that, how hard it is to get equipment. That's one thing that we kind of underestimated. We thought that there would just be a list and a line of people out there willing to take our money and build equipment for us. Now that's completely true. There is a lot of people out there that build, buy and sell this type of equipment, but it is very hard to get. Part of it is supply constraint issues. The other part is increasing demand, steel availability and steel prices and all that kind of stuff. So do your research. Make sure that you're able to grow your business if you choose to do so. Now as far as YouTube goes and stuff like that, I am 100% honest and upfront with everything that we do. And a lot of people will tell you, do not start your dumpster business as a full-time job without other streams of income. And I am no different than any single one of you. When we started this business, I still had a full-time job. I still had an income, a backup income. I did not start this dumpster business and dive, feet first right away. I was still working in the dumpster business and outside of the dumpster business until it took off. Still to this day, I really do not take a paycheck or any money from Greenhead personally myself. So make sure financially you're ready to maybe not take a paycheck for a year or two. Make sure that you have something on the side, whether that be a part-time job, maybe a spouse's income, or something along those lines, because the first year or two you may or may not make really any money, especially if you're trying to grow and reinvest that money. The best thing that you can do is pay yourself very minimally and put that money back into the business. Overhead costs. The amount of overhead costs to run a small scale or medium scale dumpster business is a lot more than you would think. I have, and I'll link at the end, the overhead cost video that I made. It's actually one of my better videos that I've ever made. And it outlines in really good detail the overhead costs that you're paying to run a proper dumpster business. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you or anything like that, but those overhead costs, most of them are a set cost per year. So you have to be at a certain scale say your overhead costs are $10,000 per year. Well, the first $10,000 worth of profit that your business makes, you have not made a dime yet. So in order to make $10,000, you're going to have to net $20,000. So your business has to get to a certain scale to be able to afford those overhead costs before you make any sort of profit. The bigger you get, your overhead costs are obviously going to go up, but your sales should also follow. But keep that in mind, that if you have one or two dumpsters and you're paying commercial insurance and DOT and truck payments and liability insurance and loans for equipment and stuff like that, you're going to have to sell so many dumpsters just to pay for that before you even profit. Even though all of us have grown up in Wisconsin and have dealt with winter for our entire lives, the slowdown that happens in the winter, at least in our area, and I'm pretty sure it happens just about everywhere in the country, the slowdown that happens in the winter and the difficulties of doing dumpsters in the winter, everything takes a little bit longer, and you're just overall less efficient in the winter, is something, even though we knew what winter is like and we've lived in a cold environment our entire lives, wintertime is definitely something that maybe we underestimated and can be a hard time for this business. You really have to try to make and save your money in the summer and then just coast through winter to get to next summer. If you make money in the winter time, that's awesome. If you can just maintain what you have and pay the bills, I would say that's basically a win if you're in a very cold environment. Another thing that we've learned since we've continued to grow is finding good help and hiring good employees is very difficult. Now, I think that goes for most businesses in today's day and age, and I don't think that's necessarily something that just affects the dumpster business. Trying to find good employees is a challenge that we have faced with our business. One other really important thing that we wish we knew right away and we did not do right away is, no matter what size your dumpster business, I believe that you need to get a software like Docket. Again, there's a link down below for a free trial of Docket. But the software ultimately really changed our business and just made the business a whole lot easier. When we first started, we were writing everything down on pen and paper and everything like that. And that works. Don't get me wrong, it does work. But to be efficient and to keep track of everything properly, the software, it's priceless. Especially at the scale that we're at now, the pen and paper thing just does not work anymore. The software is amazing. Docket is awesome. We've been using it for over a year now, and we have no intentions of changing. We absolutely love it. Another very big cost that we never really realized when we started the business is maintenance costs on vehicles and trailers and trucks and stuff like that. The amount of miles that we are driving in the course of the year doing dumpsters is far greater than any of us would have expected. Now, that might be a little bit naive of us to think that we weren't going to drive a whole lot, but it ended up being a lot more than we thought. Even with new equipment or newer equipment, with warranties and everything like that, it's insane the maintenance that you have to put into these vehicles. The truck behind me, we haven't even had it for a year, like 9 months. It already has like 20-some thousand miles on it. The tires are basically bald. So in 9 months, we need new tires. The brakes are probably going bad already, and if they haven't already been replaced. The amount of fuel that these vehicles go through is astronomical compared to a normal 9-to-5 job. Moral of the story is, whatever you think you're going to be spending on maintenance based on previous history or other jobs and the amount of miles that you're going to be putting on, expect it to be more than you thought it was going to be. For us, that was definitely something that caught us off guard and something that was surprising that we really did not figure before we started. Until we actually got into it, we realized, wow, we are really driving a lot, and the maintenance, even on a brand new vehicle, is going to be a lot higher than you think. All right, let's get into some of the things that we've learned about the business regarding dumpsters setting and picking up dumpsters and stuff like that. One thing that I think we've all learned, every single driver, when we first started setting dumpsters, we were not thinking about the future. So we would just go set a dumpster. The customer would say, I want it right there. And we would be like, yes, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, we will put it right there, no problem. All in the meantime, we were not thinking about how we were going to go and pick up that dumpster. We were not thinking about how heavy that dumpster could possibly be. Could there be vehicles in the way? Construction sites, for example. We've had put dumpsters on construction sites and literally had skid loaders grade the front yard around our dumpster 6 inches deep. You have to think about snow if you're putting it on the street or a construction site or a homeowner's. How am I going to get that dumpster back? And you should just assume that every dumpster is going to be heavy. If it's not, great, but assume it's going to be heavy. Be very careful setting it on grass or in, not on concrete or blacktop. We have had issues because we put dumpsters where they should not have been. The customer is generally always right, and you should try to put the dumpster right where the customer wants. But there are also times where you need to tell the customer no, because it's not going to be good for you, it's not going to be good for your equipment, and things can break, or you can break or damage customers' property because you put the dumpster in a spot you should not have. So be very careful and think about how you're going to get that dumpster out when you set it. Now this one, if you guys are in the dumpster business, you guys have dealt with this. And this is something that caught me off guard because I am not the kind of person that rents a dumpster and does this. And the point, or what I'm trying to say, is unwanted items in your dumpster and overfilled dumpsters. This is something that completely blew my mind away and continues to this day. You can tell a customer, you can put stickers, you can give them papers, you can lay it out. They're still going to overfill it, and they're still going to put unwanted items in there. I have not found a way to prevent this. I think it's just human nature. People just do it. But this is something that really blows my mind and happens regularly and is going to happen to you. And I think you got to kind of take it for what it is. Try to deal with it the best that you can, but just know that you're not alone out there. When you have unwanted items and overfilled dumpsters, this happens. You can try and tell customers until you're blue in the face, and they're still going to do it. Well, that is it for this one. Like I said earlier, go down below for the free trial of Hometown Dumpster Rental. You will not be pissed. Definitely check out Docket. There's a free trial down there. It's inexpensive. It's going to save you a lot of headaches, make your life a lot easier. Also, go into the comments if there's anything that I missed, or share your experiences with me. What was unexpected? What did you overlook? What surprised you about the dumpster business when you started? That's it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.